Welcome back to another session with Redeeming Our Roots by Finding Pearls in Our Poop. I got a bigger whiteboard this time, and I did try to do it on Zoom where you can use a whiteboard, but it is the delay, and I don't like that. That's annoying. I'm saying what I'm writing, but then you can't see what I write until like a second or two later. And we're in the world of instant gratification, so can't do that. Anyway, so today's topic is it our brain structure that's the problem, or is it a character problem that we have? There is a difference. Now, if anyone's listening to my voice and who wants an excuse to act in bad ways, this is not for you. Okay, so just turn this off. This is for people who actually want to do better and can't because they're really struggling. Okay? So I started my healing process in 1999, long time ago, late 1900s. I sound old. And when we got to 2001, I had been in therapy for 2 years, and the therapist looked at me and said, I don't know what to do with you. You're getting worse, not better. That's not the point of therapy. And what was happening is they were unraveling the onion around my heart, and I had a lot of dissociative parts. So when your brain, when you're a child and traumatic things happen and you can't handle it, you dissociate it, you put it in a different drawer, you just remove it. It's not like civil where you absolutely don't remember. Well, actually, there are some things I had no memory of until later. But either way, it's not quite like the book Sybil, but I digress. Anyway, they started peeling off these layers of these protective parts I had, and now we were left with this crying person, me, and I didn't know what to do with myself either. So they sent me off to the only possible place they could send me, which was California. Now, this recovering Amish had never been on a plane. I would have been 27, I think, 28, because I'm 50 now. So I flew to Los Angeles, California, my first airline ride, my first plane ride, and it was scary. It was by myself. Went to Pasadena, California, to see Dr. James Wilder, which if you look him up, he has lots of great stuff. And so that's what I'm sharing today is a couple things he shared with me that absolutely changed my life and gave me hope. Okay. If it wasn't for him, I don't know what would have happened. I'm sure someone would have came along and given me the information that I needed. So he told me about joy, strength, and return to joy. Now, in trauma world, we talk about your prefrontal cortex. Okay, what Dr. Wilder called it, and this is also known as your joy strength, but your right prefrontal cortex, right orbital prefrontal cortex in your brain, it's in the front of your brain, right side, right here, that is not there when a baby's born. It grows directly related to the stimulus it gets in the environment. So you leave a baby and don't interact with them, they will more than likely die. Okay. And so this is called the joy strength. He calls this your joy bucket or your joy strength. And then off of this prefrontal cortex, you have return to joy circuits. They're neurological circuits where emotions run on. Okay. So you have your hopeless despair. So if you go into hopeless despair, you want to come back from it back to joy, right? If you go into shame, you want to come back from that. You want to have a circuit that goes back. And then let's say you're sad. You want to have a circuit that goes back. Let's say you're angry. You want to have a way back. You've got to have a way back. Or what happens is you stay lost out here. And this is what we call dysregulation. You stay lost out here when you get into one of these emotions, hopeless despair, shame, sadness, rage, anger, whatever. You can't get back. Well, and he told me, I said, what's wrong with me? I said, no one seems to be able to help me. This is kind of a dilemma. I mean, who wants to be told that? Like, am I crazy? And he said, no, you have two things that you have a problem with. You don't have a strong enough joy strength, and you don't have return to joy circuits. Two problems. They're kind of big. You can't, the joy strength gives you the ability to pick up a pain, pick up a memory, pick up a circumstance that's hard in your life. And if it's like a muscle, and if you can't pick that up, then the brain just goes offline. You go to fight or flight, you go to the back of your brain where you act like a lizard. You act like an animal. I'm going to survive. And I'm just in a mode. I have no relational skills, nothing. There's no preferences. It's here we are. So he said, I need a bigger joy strength, and I have no return to joy circuits, which happen when you're a child and you're ashamed and mom or dad or someone helps you return back to that joy. They say, why'd you do that? And they're like, then they hold you and they comfort you, they bring you back. Well, that never happened for me. I would be left out in these emotions, or I didn't get to have them because they definitely weren't glad to be with me. So today in our trauma world, what we're trying to do, we're trying to help people build their joy strength bucket, which is done by being glad to be with you. When I'm glad to be with you, your brain grows. This ROPC is still your be-like material. That means you can grow to be like the people around you. You don't have to stay the same. Isn't this exciting? And then they show you the way back. So you got to get angry with someone, and they've got to show you the way back. Yeah, so go out and get angry with someone. No, don't really. Anyway, go have some hopeless despair. That's everywhere. Just pick some up along the road, and hop on into some call and say, hey, can you be glad to be with me in hopeless despair? My brain needs to know the way back. So these two things were huge for me. And he said, you need someone to be glad to be with you. And I said to myself, well, Lord, you are bigger than anyone else here on this earth, and you are going to be glad to be with me. Yes, you are. You said you never leave me or forsake me. So I went home, and when memories come back, I said, Lord, come on, I need your presence here so I can resolve this memory and I can return to joy. I don't know about his neurocircuits. I guess Jesus' neurology of his brain is like perfect. I don't know. Anyway, so I came home with a new hope, and I prayed a lot. And then I found people that knew how to return to joy. I saw, it was like that person got angry and then they came back to their normal within minutes. They were mad and then they came back. That is actually the definition of maturity, is if you have the ability to go into all these different emotional states and you can come back to joy, that is defining maturity. So that's what I have to say today. So my point is, sometimes we are in these emotions and it's our brain structure that has the problem of return to joy. It's not really our character. If someone's like, well, they're always upset or they can never get it together, and well, it might not be their character. It might be their brain structures. We need to be glad to be with them. We need to help them come back to joy. And that's what I want to help everyone do. So when I coach someone, my goal is to be glad to be with you in whatever pain you have so that you can come back to joy, and I can show you the way back because I now have circuits in my brain. So thanks to Dr. Wilder, which he's great. Okay, that's all for now. Let's see.